Welcome back to a second grade writing lesson. Today we're going to work on recounting an event. We're going to include details to describe actions, thoughts, and feelings. We're going to use transitional words, and we're also going to provide a conclusion. Now, before we're ready to do all of those amazing things, we are going to first decide on a topic. And we're going to come up with 3 things that we definitely want to talk about in our story. So we're going to start by planning our circle map. Our circle map has our title. I decided I wanted to write my recounting of an event about the first day of second grade. That day is just near and dear to my heart, and I remember it so clearly. So I started all of those important words with an uppercase letter. That's going to be my title. I decided as I am recounting the events of that day, I definitely want to tell what we did in reading that day. So I'm going to have a sentence about what we did for reading that day. I'm going to have a sentence about something we did in math on that day. And then I'm going to have a sentence about an art project that we did on that day. Okay, let's continue today with the flow map. I think you're ready to look at that. Okay, so here is my flow map. And I simply drew this out on a piece of notebook paper. You can do that at home if you'd like. And so I have that same title from my circle map. Remember that? The first day of second grade. I have that title right here at the top. The first day of second grade. And remember, I'm still planning my story. So the first thing a good story needs is a good introduction. So we need to tell the reader what they're going to be reading about. So I started that sentence with an uppercase letter. The first day of second grade was amazing. And that's the end of my thoughts, so I need a period. I decided I wanted another sentence there, so I put, I remember how excited we all were. Period. And so those 2 sentences are part of my introduction or my lead sentence. Okay, remember we need to transition our story. Okay, so here's my first transition word or words. To begin with, I started to with a capital because it's the beginning of a sentence. And then I have a comma after the transition word. Okay, remember from my circle map, I wanted to tell something about reading. So here's my sentence about reading. To begin with, we read a great book about friendship. And I put the period at the end of that sentence. And I wanted to describe the book, so I used an adjective or a sparkle word. I used the word great. After we read that book, let me give a detail that tells more. So remember, after we read that book, we listed ways that we would be good friends to each other. We made a chart about that we hung up in our classroom. And we got all those great ideas from that book that we read. Okay, let's keep going. We need a transition. So I chose to use the word next. It's going to be the beginning of the next sentence. So I'm starting it with an uppercase letter, and then I have my comma. Next, remember from my circle map, I was going to tell a fact about math. So next, in math, we practiced skip counting by 5s, 10s, and 100s. We had a lot of fun doing that on the first day. So I'm going to tell a little bit more about that. I'm going to start that sentence with an uppercase letter. It was fun to use our math journals and work with our friends at our table. We had some time to work together on that. And I ended that sentence with a period. And then remember on the circle map, I wanted to tell about an art project that we completed on the first day. This was one of my favorite things that we did on that first day. So I'm going to transition by using the word finally. And I started that with an uppercase letter, finally, comma. We made a beautiful paper plate collage about our favorite things. And I decided to use an adjective. Beautiful describes the paper plate collage that we made. I ended that sentence with a period. Let's see what the detail is that tells more. Cutting pictures out of magazines and sharing them was awesome. So I described how that felt. And I started that sentence with an uppercase letter, and I ended it with a period. Okay, we're ready for our ending or our conclusion. I'm starting it with a capital. The first day of second grade was full of smiles, comma, learning, comma, and laughter, period. It was a wonderful day. And remembering that day makes me so happy. So now that we've planned out our circle map, here it is, and our flow map, we are ready for story form. So I hope you come back and join me tomorrow, and we'll look at how to take this story off the flow map and put it in story form. I'll see you then.